I didn't ever want to go and see Wicked. I thought I'm adverse to the whole witch thing. I'm not into the witch thing at all. I'm quite anti that kind of genre.
Yeah.
I'm not into horror, not into witchy poo.
Fantasy stuff.
Nah,
Yeah.
don't do well at that. Having said that, one of my favourite shows as a kid was BEWITCHED. And it's that late 1960s sitcom.
Yeah.
And Samantha was the young, pretty, blonde wife, like Stepford wife, and she had the husband who was an executive, and her mother, Endora, was a witch, and Samantha was a witch also. But it was that kind of relationship that we're going to talk about in Wicked, where Elphaba, the green witch, and Galinda, the pretty pink Linda, is a pretty blonde good witch.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar preface that's set up in BEWITCHED as well. Samantha is like the Galinda, and Endora is seen to be like the mean, nasty one, but we know Elphaba's not mean and nasty.
The BEWITCHED, 254 episodes.
Oh, shivers.
Between
8 years.
1964 and 1972.
Yeah, long time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently Elizabeth Montgomery, the lead actress, just decided she didn't want to do it anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it?
That's like, that
of
reminds-
wiggling your nose.
Yeah. Did you watch Game of Thrones when that was on?
Yes.
There's an amazing documentary that they released after it finished about the making of the final season.
Oh, really?
And everyone, like,
Exhausted.
just about everyone that's on screen is like, I'm done with this. Like, they're all just exhausted and were happy for it to be done at that point.
As we entered into the set today, you said, how are you, Ness? And I said, look, I've had the baby in the manger up to here. I've done the wise man.
It's not even Christmas.
I know.
I sorry, it's January.
I feel like I'm fully, I've been so long immersed in this narrative.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Elizabeth and Mary anymore. I'm done with the wise men, and I haven't even done the sermon for Christmas yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't delivered Christmas Day. I've written it, but I haven't delivered it yet. It's like, oh no. I know that feeling. You just get saturated with
like
the story.
I don't know how the Red Hot Chili Peppers must feel playing Under the Bridge for the probably 30,000th time. Like,
Yeah.
you must, I don't know.
Didn't Billy Joel say he can never play Piano Man again?
I mean, yeah, fair.
I bet he did at Madison Square Garden in this recent thing. Surely he would
You
have.
would.
But I remember him saying, I can never knock that out again. I'm so done.
Yeah.
You would just get so sick of it, wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
I mean, like, and very, very minor compared to someone like the Chili Peppers or Billy Joel or whoever,
Sure.
or Elton or whoever. But like when I was in my band, I probably played, I don't know, 20, 25 shows in a year, if that.
Yep.
Less probably. And I got sick of those songs.
Yeah.
Like, and that's,
yeah.
let alone like however many shows a year those massive artists play. And like, you think like we just, end of this year just saw Coldplay, who did 4 shows in a row in Sydney.
Yeah.
Show goes for almost 2 hours. Multiply that by however many times I do that around the world. You must get so sick of those
Imagine
songs.
Taylor Swift
Exactly.
finishing Eras
Yeah.
tour.
And from what I've heard, she does different sets every show, which it would be one way of
keep
doing it.
mixing it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember doing, like 3-month run of musical theatre, and I knew the material so well that
Yeah.
I could plan, during one of my solos, I could plan the food shopping list that I'd have to
That's
get the
it.
next day.
Yeah. It was the same with when I was in the band.
And then they'd clap and I'd be shocked because I would have just planned my food shopping list, a bit like driving and you go, I don't remember going over that bridge.
Yeah. It's just muscle memory.
Yeah, I just would do it, and obviously I knocked it out of the ballpark. It must have been semi-okay. And they'd clap and I'd go, oh, shit, well, now I know what I've got to do for food shopping in the morning. How bad is that?
No, but that's when you talk to like high-level performers, it's all about like just repeating until it's muscle memory.
Even though where I knew where my body was in the space, you know?
Yeah. The difference with like playing punk rock shows, you have it down, you've repeated it so many times that which means that anything else can happen.
Yeah, wow.
That you can move anywhere on the stage. Some guy can get up on stage and start dancing. You can end up in the crowd. Well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You know what you're doing.
Your
where
hands
you're
are doing.
at.
Your hands
Yeah,
are still doing
it.
the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Super interesting.
But Wicked.
Yeah.
You said you didn't want to see it.
No, good pickup. Yes, I didn't. And because I'm anti this witch thing and I wasn't into Harry Potter, I'd never seen a Harry Potter and I was involved in the whole church scene when Harry Potter first came out.
Yeah.
Was that the 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, it was late 90s, I think, when those novels first started coming out. I'd have to quickly look that up. Yeah, 98 or something.
Yeah, and there was all this Christians shouldn't be watching stories about witches and warlocks and why would we let our children read this stuff. So I had kids at that stage and I thought it was just a fantasy novel. I mean, how bad is this thing? I used to watch Bewitched, you know. I mean, how bad could it be? And so my thought was, I don't really want to go and see this wicked thing. And then beautiful Rachel, friend of the show, one of my beautiful singers at church, she said, Ness, I'm going to Wicked. Do you want to come? And I said, she loves a musical. So I thought, if I'm going to go and see a musical, I'm going to go with her and her family because they are, super fun to be with. They are just hysterical. And they've seen Wicked a multitude of times. It was not her first rodeo. So she can explain anything to me. And it was super fun going with them. It was just a joy. And I knew nothing about the show, which Rachel thought was hilarious because everything caught me by surprise.
Right.
I was having aha moments all the way through, like loud aha moments.
Did you know that it was adjacent to The Wizard of Oz?
I knew it was something linked with The Wizard of Oz, but I didn't even know much about that. So I went in really cold. And I was a bawling, crying, sobbing, snot-faced mess and just left that going, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And it was stunningly performed here in Sydney, which I'm sure it is all over the world, and worth every cent to go and see. So then when the movie came out, I'm thinking this is going to be phenomenal. I'm really excited to go and see this. So I booked the reclining seat and I was really excited. And while it was very different to the theatre experience, it did all the cinematography and the tricks and the beautiful big panning and the zooming out and all this spectacular that you can have, but it kept the big dance routines, the song and dance routines, which musical theatre just does so well, and that's the stuff I love so much. It was just so elegantly done. I cannot wait for part 2. I just can't believe I've got to wait a whole year.
Yes, I mean, so I'm sure everyone knows this already, but they shot part 1 and 2 at the same time, and it's split into obviously 2 parts. As far as I know, because I haven't actually seen the stage show, but part 1 ends
at interval.
At intermission.
Does. Yeah. With that Defying Gravity song. Yeah.
Which
I couldn't get the thing out of my head.
My experience of watching the movie, because like I said, have never seen the stage show, love The Wizard of Oz. There were 2 songs in particular that as soon as I started, I was like, oh, I know this song. So I must have just heard them around. It was Popular.
Popular.
And Defying Gravity. And I think I must have written a music assignment on one of them in year 12.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
Okay.
Because I remember my year 11 and 12 music teacher was a massive Wicked fan and probably picked. I think that's where I heard Popular was and why it was so familiar was because I'd listened to it hundreds of times and written about it.
She smashed that.
Oh, okay. This may surprise you.
Yeah.
I am such a huge fan of Ariana Grande.
Yeah, that surprises me a lot.
Thank You Next is probably one of my favorite pop records.
Oh.
It's so good.
Wow.
It's so good. She doesn't quite top Charlie XCX for me. I think she's phenomenal, but I'm such a huge fan of Ariana Grande, and I didn't know she was an actress.
Well,
I don't know if she was before this performance, but...
Well, I knew her name, but I didn't know what she sang. I have never owned any of her music. I know my girls think she's great, and I thought she was pretty and cute, and I thought she's going to fit that character really well. and her voice is spectacular,
Amazing.
isn't it? And she's a great little actress.
Yeah, I was so because you sometimes see that where like I think of like Ed Sheeran was in season 8 of Game of Thrones and it was so distracting.
Yeah.
Like every so often you see pop stars in
Yep.
film or TV and it doesn't quite work. She crushed it.
Totally
Just
crushed
so
it.
good. Yeah.
And all her little dance moves, and she was just fantastic. And then, you've got the two incredible female leads, but then Anthony Bridgerton. Holy moly.
See, I didn't know that he was in Bridgerton until you told me earlier.
And he is just like draw card beautiful. Everybody's in love with him. He was just so wonderful. And it was beautiful to see him dance, like do the full musical theatre piece when he's the sophisticated older son in the Bridgerton family, and he never boogies like that. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I thought he had the right amount of smug
Didn't
in
he?
that when you first meet him and then it starts to peel away.
Yeah, he was
which is
excellent.
Nice. Yeah.
Excellent. There's a tension happening between the girls, though, in this movie, isn't it? I don't think we should give away the ending.
No, and I also haven't, like I said,
Yeah.
so I don't really know where part 2 is going, other than obviously we plug into the beginning of the Wizard of Oz
Yep.
with Dorothy.